negotiations, another big part of what
Huge
we're
part.
trying to solve. This is an Inman article. Deals will hinge on negotiations this fall. Here's how buyers agents win. So we'll go through buyers and agents. So buyers and agents. Okay.
Yep.
We'll go through the list and just call racket or not, right?
Yep.
Ask the developer to cover closing costs on new properties. So new construction. Okay, if your interest rate went up, you probably are into, a longer time period of closing this deal.
Yep.
Would you ask for closing costs to be paid for?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, again, we've talked about it even within our team too. Those closing costs could go towards buying your rate down, save you some monthly. So I'm 100% on board with asking for some closing costs for sure.
Leslie Singer from Brown Harris Stevens in New York City. She's saying right now in this market, developers are a lot more willing to negotiate. So working with your agent, if you're a buyer or if you're an agent and you get a feel for, hey, there's an opportunity here for me to save my clients some money, absolutely go ahead and do that. Leverage different listings against each other. Nicole, your thoughts on that?
I guess. I mean, it's like sending over comps. I don't know how many agents. Well, I guess I don't necessarily look at the comps that buyers are sending over to me because, again, my seller wants what they're asking for. So I don't. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this strategy, but I certainly would do it to justify my number. I just don't know if the listing agent is really even humoring the email.
Yeah, and it depends on location, right? If you know you've got a great location, then you're going to hold firm on certain things. Like we're going to do, Nicole's my agent on a deal right now, and we're going to hold firm because that's a special location. I'll rent that thing before we sell it at a discount. And so you've got to know what you've got if you're the listing agent, if you're the seller. What asset are you holding?
And you've got to be sold. You got to be all in on it. I mean, don't just grab the number and not be sold on it.
Yeah, I don't care what comp you send me as a seller,
Right?
right? So this is my seller hat. Don't care what comp you send me. So I don't know how much leverage you're going to have in premier locations when you're leveraging listings against each other. And remember, listen, that house that we're talking about, I want to get out of it because it's got high HOA, high taxes. I just bought another place in Connecticut that I can Airbnb when I'm not there, right? Just thinking strategically. But on the flip side, my loan is 3%. So will I not rent that if I don't get the money that I want to get? I will absolutely rent that out at 3% mortgage rate. All right, number 3 here, marry the house, date the rate. This is a total racket. I hate this advice. This is the worst advice you've seen on the internet. This is the worst advice. If you're one of those buyer agents, please in the comments say, I'll never do this again. Hit the thumbs up if you agree that this is terrible advice. Listen, you don't know what the future is going to look like. Nobody knew that we were going to be at 7% at the end of this year besides MBA. Mortgage Bankers Association, I think, is the only group that said we were going to be at over 7% interest rates by the end of the year. Every other projection was 6%, 5%, even high 4s at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So who are you to say, marry the house and date the rate when you don't know in 3, 4, 5 years what that rate's going to be? You just don't know. So the numbers have got to work. The numbers have got to make sense. Obviously, you've got to love the house, love the location, but there is a math problem you need to solve as well when you're buying this house. Nicole, your thoughts on marry the house, date the rate?
Yeah, no, I'm on your team. I'm not a huge fan of the saying. I do think though that I mean, at the end of the day, people still need a house. So again, marry the house. And again, but the money's got to make sense. The money's
Money
definitely
has
got
to
to
make
make
sense. You can't just be
Yeah.
crossing. Hope is not a strategy, right?
No.
So don't be providing hope as a strategy for your clients, please.
Yeah.
Get more recent data to back up the best offer. So are you supplying a lot of data on offers?
I'm not.
Would you suggest an agent doing that?
I mean, I think that at the end of the day, it's why not? I mean, sure, give them the why you're justifying it, especially if you're coming in with a low ball offer. Like throw them out there so that at least maybe the agent will supply it to the seller. But kind of like we said at the beginning, if you're comparing it to another property and the seller just doesn't give a hoot, I mean, I don't know that this is going to help you, but
Yeah, depending on who the seller is, a letter might work. better.
True. True.
Emotions might work better. All right,
Yeah.
don't waive your rights. I would agree right now.
I've never been a fan of waiving inspections, waiving
Well, the
mortgages,
deal we just
waiving
bought,
anything.
I waived my rights on the deal we just
Well, I'm
bought.
right. I mean, again, yes, I mean, you're a real estate professional and it made the most sense. I mean, we walked through and we felt comfortable with it. But if you're a first time buyer or I would never tell a buyer to waive anything. I
Yeah.
just think that you're setting yourself up for something pretty nasty
If
potentially
this
in
is
the
your first,
future.
second, third
Yeah.
deal as the buyer agent, you should not be advising them. And this is going to be the one opportunity you get to go ahead and renegotiate that deal. So you get into an inspection situation, and maybe there's not catastrophic things in that report, but there are things that need to be addressed. This is your time to basically go to the seller and say, hey, do you want to make some concessions here, or do you want to restart the process? And in this market, as we get closer to holidays and winter, it's unlikely that many sellers are going to want to restart. Press pause. Along the same lines, Maddox elaborated that home buyers
Don't
shouldn't feel
rush.
rushed to make decisions. So basically, pause, know that there's going to be more inventory. I think the winter is going to be great in a lot of markets for buyers. So yeah, why
Mhm.
not pause if you're not getting what you want out of this market? Nicole, you agree?
Absolutely. 100% agree. I mean, I agree with that in any market. Don't
Yeah, I
put in
mean,
offers even if there's a multiple offer situation and you don't love the house, don't do it just so you win. So I think that that's true in any market.
we said that when the rates were low, like, hey, there's always going to be another deal on the market tomorrow. There's
Yeah.
always going to be something else hitting the market.